The Republic of Korea was officially established at the end of World War II in 1948 and became a democratic country with an elected president. Prior to 1910, Korea was a monarchy with the king ruling the country. We present the king and queen's formal clothing from the Chosun dynasty between 1392 and 1910. The color gold was specifically reserved for royalty throughout much of ancient Korea's history. The royalty show their elegance by wearing impressive costumes with embroidered insignia on the front and back, and adorn themselves with head decorations, necklaces, rings, and very precious jewelry. Their traditional Korean fan dance, called Muchechum, was performed in front of the royal court during many celebrations. The dance uses both visual artistry and elegance to beautifully display Korea's national flower, the Rose of Sharon. The dance consists of mainly females wearing bright-colored hanboks with a high concentration towards the design of the fans. The fans are decorated with pink blossoms, and the choreography is stylized in a way to represent not only the flower, but birds, waves, and butterflies. I'd like to introduce to you the students of Highland Christian Academy, who have worked very hard to demonstrate to you the beauty of the traditional Korean fan dance. So let's give them a warm welcome of applause. Korean wedding ceremony is usually taking place in the bride's house. The groom is wearing a black hat and a blue cloak, resembling the clothes worn by the high-ranking government officials in ancient times. After arriving at the bride's house, the groom first offers a wooden goose to the bride's family as a token of lifelong fidelity that the couple should follow in their future married life, such as wild geese would keep the same partner for life. So even if one dies, the other will not seek a new partner for the rest of his or her life. Then, the groom bows 2 times to the future mother-in-law. Then, the groom goes to the east side of the table, where he awaits his future bride. The bride then enters and stands on the west side of the table. The helpers wash the hands of the bride and groom, thus having symbolically cleansed them for the ceremony. The bride then bows twice to the groom. The song you are hearing is called Arirang, one of the most beloved songs in Korea. Then the groom bows back once to the bride. The bowing represents the promise of commitment to each other. Then, both bride and groom will kneel down to face each other. The helpers remove the bride's veil. Years ago, this was the first time the bride and groom saw each other's faces since the matchmaker arranged the marriage in ancient Korean society. The bride's mother throws the gourd and cuts it in half. Using 2 halves of the same gourd symbolizes that the bride and groom each make up 1 half, and only together can they be considered whole. Then each of the helpers pour rice wine into both halves of the gourd. The groom sits first, then the bride follows. This wine drinking signifies the unity of the new husband and wife, as well as their life in harmony. Then the groom and bride are joined together, where they bow 2 more times. Once to their parents, and once to their guests. Even though nowadays the westernized wedding traditions are more popular in Korea, their traditional wedding ceremony is still performed to keep the tradition alive. To you a modern dance of Taekwondo called Taekwondo. If we can welcome the students of Highland Christian Academy and give them another round of applause.
Na 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 na, hey, na 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 na.
two flags being represented. The one on top is North Korea's flag, and the one on the bottom is South Korea. Which one is the communist country? North, very good. Korea is a peninsula located in East Asia. It is surrounded by China, the Yellow Sea, and the Sea of Japan. The border that separates North from South Korea falls along the 38th parallel. It is also called the Demilitarized Zone, or DMZ. It is also the most heavily fortified border in the world. Korea is also a very beautiful country with 4 very distinct seasons, ranging from mountains to modern-day cities, such as Seoul, which actually holds about half of South Korea's population. Kim Jong-un is the current dictator of North Korea. His father, Kim Jong-il, used to be until he passed away very recently. The dictators used all of North Korea's money on the military, causing the rest of the country to be poor economically. In this picture, you can see that no city lights can be seen from space. Only from the capital, Pyongyang, can it be seen. So imagine growing up without any air conditioning, television, cell phones, video games. They don't have any of that. Park Geun-hye is the first female president of South Korea. Her father used to be president in the late 60s, early 70s, but he was killed by a Korean CIA agent. Also, her mother was killed by a North Korean spy. And unlike North Korea, South Korea grew prosperously economically. Freedom of religion is fully guaranteed in South Korea. Christianity is the most practiced religion. This is Yoidu Gospel Church. It's the largest church in the world where over 85,000 people attend every Sunday service. Another largely practiced religion in South Korea is Buddhism. But in North Korea, the civilians are forced to worship the dictators, who they consider to be God. So here's a picture of them bowing to the statues of Kim Jong-il and his father. Korean is the national language. I'm going to go ahead and teach you guys some phrases. To say hello is 안녕 하세요. So if you'll repeat after me. 안녕 하세요. And that's the formal way to say it. So if you're just speaking to a friend, you can say the short version of 안녕. Let's try that again. 안녕. 안녕. Very good. And to say thank you is 감사합니다. Very good. And to say I love you is 사랑합니다. You just spoke Korean. Education is very important in both North and South Korea. Both countries have a high literacy rate, about 97 to 98%. South Koreans used to attend school 6 days a week, but they decided 5 days would be sufficient. However, they do attend tutoring afterwards, so they focus on their education about 12, 13 hours a day. K-pop is a growing sensation. Maybe some of you listen to their music, from Girls' Generation, Big Bang, and even you probably recognize this guy for his Gangnam Style. K-drama is also a growing sensation with popular dramas such as Boys Over Flower, 49 Days, City Hunter, and Secret Garden. Hanbok is the Korean dress. It's a national dress from traditional, which has the longer tops, to the modern, which has the shorter tops, from men hanboks and children, and now westernized fashion. LG is a Korean product. I'm sure some of you guys might have an LG phone, television. If you do, you own a Korean product. Maybe some of you have a Samsung S4 smart television. Samsung is also a Korean product. Who can tell me what this symbol is? If you said Hyundai, you're correct. Honda is actually Japanese. Now I'm going to show you a snippet of a commercial. You probably recognize these little critters. caught up. Have you had some Korean food before? Yes. Maybe some bulgogi, which is a marinated beef. It's very popular. Maybe you had some kimchi. It's spicy. No, well, if you had, it's actually very healthy. It's known to help prevent bird flu. And we also have dishes like bibimbap, which is a Korean version of stir fry. It's rice with mixed vegetables. Sports is also very popular in Korea. Maybe you recognize her. She's Kim Yuna. She won the gold medal for figure skating 4 years ago, and she won the silver medal just this past Winter Olympics. We also have Michelle Wee for golf, and the Red soccer team who competed in the World Cup a few times. And anyone know our martial arts? What is our national Taekwondo. Taekwondo, very good. Not to be confused with karate, which is Japanese, or kung fu, which is Chinese. And we'll have a short demonstration later. I'm going to go ahead and ask you some questions. If you know the answer, raise your hand. If you get it right, you'll get a prize. And make sure you raise your hand and don't yell out the answer, okay? So what is the name that separates North Korea from South? I think I saw his hand in the black jacket. Very good. The demilitarized zone. All right, which one's a Korean dish in the blue and white striped shirt? Not lo mein. Blue jacket.
Kimchi.
Kimchi. Very good. All right, last question. Which one's Korea's national? Got an orange sweater?
Taekwondo.
Taekwondo. Very good.